Hello, I'm Pamela Aaralyn. You can find me at www.aurareader.com or on my Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Aura Reader. I'm here to talk to you today about a pretty intense subject. The subject is pain. Pain and suffering, why it happens, why we're here to experience it, what particular reasons some of you who are experiencing it immensely are here, what those reasons are, and what it's not. Let's talk first about what it's not. Pain is not here in existence to punish you. Pain is not here as your crutch. Pain is not here as an excuse for you not to be able to follow your path. Pain is not here because your inner child is needing integration or healing or something emotionally fixed. Pain is not here because something is wrong with you. Pain is not here as a lower frequency vibration of energy. It is the exact opposite. In your primordial existence, for those of you who chose pain, you chose pain. There's so many different things that you could have chosen, but because you had experienced the full gambit, and this is pretty similar for those of you who have had so many lifetimes that you've experienced the full gambit of human emotions and spiritual lessons, from love to bliss to joy, transmutation, that's mine, by the way. It's my spiritual purpose. Reformation, reclamation. I'm listing a lot of the different purposes that are difficult and some of them that are wonderful. Either way, if you've done all that and you've experienced all that, there's one that not many choose. They wait until the very end of all the possible gambit of emotions that represent purposes and spiritual purposes for them to possibly choose. Once they've gone through all that, they choose transformation via suffering. The most difficult but immensely empowering, transforming, enlightening spiritual purpose in existence. Source trusted you so much that after your many lessons, you sat there when realigning with Source after your last lifetime, and Source said, well, you've done this, you've done that, you've done that, you've done that. And you listed all the many things that you've learned, and there was one that you had not. And Source said, this is going to be difficult. Do you trust me? Do you trust that I will not abandon you? Do you trust that I will not betray you? No matter what it feels like in this immense journey. And you said, yes, Lord. Bring it on. You brave soul. I'm sitting right there with you, by the way. I was also a person who, and sometimes still do, I experienced immense pain in childhood and immense pain now. Pain is not here as the opposite of pleasure. There's proof in that when you watch children who are playing and they're born with immensely painful medical conditions or genetic conditions or both, disabling conditions that breaks your heart. They know nothing but that. And what do you see them doing? They're playing, they're smiling, they're loving. They're the most benevolent, peaceful, loving children ever. And other parents come up to the parents of these children and they say, "Oh my goodness, my heart is inspired. How on earth is that possible? Look at her. She was born with this disease. It must be so painful. How is she playing? How is she smiling? How does she have hope?" When you're born without pain and with mostly pleasure and mostly peaceful moments, and then something happens like an injury or a disease and it's painful, a lot of you come to me and you say, "Why? Why me?" Because you have all of the pleasure and joy and love to compare it to, that you don't recognize the pain and the suffering as another facet of the human emotion experience. But when you are born with it, you recognize it as a normalcy. Imagine that. When you're in pain, it doesn't mean that you are at the spiritual bottom of the totem pole. It does not mean that you have some lower frequency of energy that needs to be raised. It does not mean that you need more shadow work or inner child work or more spiritual processes with which to beat yourself up. It is there because on the other side of it is transformation via your suffering in the most enlightening facet that causes you so much faith and so much trust in Source, in the perfection of Source within you. So much trust in that, that you're strong enough to believe that there's something else on the other side of that, that Source planned, and that whatever it is, that you're okay, that you're safe, that you're loved. That's why pain's there. So when you're experiencing immense pain, step one, stop. Stop what you're doing. It's meant to be felt. It's meant to be honored. Talk to the part of you, emotionally or physically, that is in pain and say, "I hear you. I feel you. I love you." Step number two, move. If you're physically in pain and it's possible, move your body. I've had 4 C-sections, by the way. That is how I gave birth to all 4 of my children. Not via choice. Either way, after each C-section, after the first one, the nurse came in and said, "I need to let you know that the more you move your body, as soon as you're cleared to get up out of bed and walk the halls of the hospital, the sooner you're going to feel better." And I said, "Oh, you're crazy, lady." And I lied there and I lied there. And it took longer to recover. And then finally, when I got home, and I had to practice these things like getting up out of the bed, lying down in the bed, stomach muscles, sitting up from a chair, bending up, bending over to pick something up. It was a shock And my body said, no, 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 you're going to make yourself worse. No. Second baby, after the C-section, I moved a little bit and I went, ooh, ouch. But I'm supposed to do it. Okay, Source. I remember what happened last time. That wasn't good. I stayed stuck there. For those of you who came into this world with pre-birth intentions regarding pain and you just laid in bed and accepted it as a part of it and that you weren't going to do anything but get in your wheelchair, I'm not talking about those of you who are confined to it. I'm talking about those of you who can get out of it whether it hurts or not. That you can get up out of bed whether it hurts or not. Yeah. Move your body if it's possible and if it's safe. Okay? If you have doctor approval, move your physical body. I did that the second time around, and I went, ooh, okay. I lied in bed the first time. The second time I'm going to move. And it hurt, but I healed twice as fast. The third time I had a C-section, I was so quick to move that as soon as I was in recovery, I'm like, wonder if I can move my toes. Still under anesthesia. Kind of have to be. Wonder if I can move my fingers. Wonder if I could sit up. I'm going to try. Can't move yet. Damn. 15 more minutes. By the time they got me out of the recovery, I was out of that bed, trying to walk. And they were putting me back in it and saying, no, no, not moving yet. No, no, no. Not moving yet. When you have pain, the purpose of it is for it to overcome you until you are no longer afraid of it. When you can't get any further at the bottom of that barrel with emotional and physical pain, what's next? Do you trust Source to know? Trust Source to know what's on the other side. Trust Source to know that no matter how painful it gets, you're going to move through it, you're going to accept it, you're going to love it, you're going to feel it, you're going to celebrate every component of that pain until it has nothing left to offer you but whatever Source has planned on the other side of that pain. Can't be any worse. Why not give it a shot? It's a very uncomfortable lesson, but we did choose it. There is something immensely enlightening and rewarding on the other side of it every single time you work through it. I'm recovering from whooping cough right now. Who knows how I got that? But this was a part of my lesson. I get the weirdest diseases ever. No one knows why. And I heal from the weirdest diseases ever. When 7 days ago, when I was coughing so much with a whooping cough that I could barely catch a breath in between, I went into my shower and I turned it on as hot as I could possibly imagine. And I said, if you're going to kill me, it's okay. If I'm not going to breathe, it's okay. Whatever you're trying to do it, and do it now. And after I coughed about 100 times, with very little air in between, I looked down into the drain of the shower. And I saw light coming up from it. And Source said, breathe that. Breathe that. And I did. And it felt like the most warm light and love combined with some warm, steamy feeling going into my lungs. And I looked up. And then I just stopped. My breathing it halted for just a few seconds. And then I gasped. I went, and I breathed it all out. All of the fear that I was going to die, all of the fear that the whooping cough was going to give me no oxygen left, all of the fear that I would have no lungs, that they would collapse, and that it was 3 a.m. in the morning, and that no one would find me in the shower. Because these are the things that happen when we're in our most immense and intense phases of pain. These are the things that we think to ourselves, right? But when you say, I'm okay, your will be done. Your will be done, Source. Your will be done, Lord. That's when pain can play no more with you. That is the purpose. I haven't been the same since that moment when I thought I was going to die and not breathe anymore. Because once I breathed in that light, I breathed in the light and the love of the faith that I have for God above, and for myself and God within me and Source within me to endure every possible amount of suffering that could possibly happen. And when I said that, pain had nothing more to do with me. Namaste.